Let's be real for a second. How many times have you found yourself in that familiar, frustrating cycle? You draft a message in your head, then in your notes app, tweaking the wording until it feels just casual enough, just interesting enough to hopefully spark a reply. You hit send on that, just checking in text, and for a moment, there's a surge of optimism. This time will be different. Then your phone goes dark. The minutes stretch into hours, and those hours into a deafening silence. You check your signal bars, wondering if maybe the message didn't go through. You replay your words, searching for a hidden meaning or a mistake that might have caused this new form of digital ghosting. It's more than frustrating. It's a unique kind of emotional limbo that leaves you feeling confused, a little foolish, and your pride takes a direct hit. But here's the critical shift in perspective you need to make. This isn't just about her not responding. The real damage isn't the ignored text itself. It's what that waiting game does to you. It's the mental energy you expend crafting those perfect messages. It's the constant clock watching and the way your mood dips every time you glance at a silent phone. It's the over-analysis, the second-guessing, and the slow erosion of your confidence as you quietly wonder, what's wrong with me? With every text you send into the void and every moment you spend hoping for a reply, you are quietly, consistently giving away your personal power. You are placing the valuation of your self-worth squarely into the hands of someone who, in that moment, isn't choosing to hold it. You're stuck in a cycle that offers you nothing but anxiety and doubt. It's a loop that drains your energy and focuses your attention on someone who isn't reciprocating, effectively blinding you to other opportunities and, more importantly, to your own growth. It's a cycle that, frankly, isn't serving you or the man you are trying to become, and it's time to break free. This isn't about learning a clever new texting strategy or playing hard to get in the hopes of manipulating someone into liking you. Those are just surface-level games that never lead to anything real. This is about something far more fundamental and powerful. It's about knowing your inherent worth on a bone-deep level and then having the courage to refuse. To waste your precious energy on anyone who doesn't. See it and celebrate it. The pivotal moment of transformation begins right here. The moment you consciously decide to stop chasing, to close that waiting app, and to put your phone down, is the moment you seize back control. You are no longer a passive participant waiting for a cue in someone else's play. You are taking control not just of this single situation, but of your entire mindset. You are choosing your confidence. You are choosing your peace. And in doing so, you are ultimately taking back control of your life. This decision is the first and most important step off the emotional roller coaster and onto solid ground. Let's cut straight to the core of the issue. You're wrestling with confusion, replaying every interaction, trying to pinpoint where it might have gone off the rails. You're searching for that one magic combination of words that will finally make her see what she's missing. But here is the hard, liberating truth you need to hear. If you've made your interest known, if you've asked her out, spent time with her, made an effort to connect, or outright expressed your feelings, then she already knows exactly where you stand. The signals of male interest are not a subtle, complex code. They are among the most universally understood social dynamics. She is not confused. She is not unaware. The real pivotal question you must ask yourself is not, does she know? But does she feel the same? Her silence, her vague replies, her lack of initiation, these are not signs of confusion. They are the answer. They are a quiet, non-confrontational way of communicating that the mutual spark you're looking for simply isn't there for her. If that is the case, and the reciprocity is absent, then understand this fundamental principle. Texting her more will not change her mind. It cannot manufacture a genuine emotional connection or physical attraction that doesn't exist. In fact, the law of diminishing returns applies here more brutally than almost anywhere else. Every additional message you send after the initial silence doesn't increase your chances. It actively diminishes them. It moves you from the category of a nice guy she's not that into the category of a persistent problem she needs to manage. What you intend as a thoughtful check-in registers on her end as pressure. What you see as a reminder of your existence feels to her like a demand for her energy and attention energy she has already demonstrated. she is unwilling to give. A powerful analogy is to imagine someone, however well-intentioned, constantly trying to sell you a product you have already politely declined. The first time, you might be flattered or simply say no, thank you. The second time, you become slightly annoyed. Your boundary was already stated. The third, fourth, and fifth times, you become exasperated. You feel your time and space are being disrespected. You stop seeing a passionate salesperson and start seeing a nuisance. Your only recourse to reclaim your peace is to disengage entirely, to walk away, to block the number. This is precisely the psychological dynamic at play when you continue to text someone who isn't reciprocating. Your persistence is not being received as endearing or dedicated. It is being processed as exhausting and intrusive. Therefore, the most powerful action you can take is not a better text, but a strategic and dignified retreat. Stepping back is not about playing a game. It is about demonstrating a profound understanding of social cues and, more importantly, demonstrating self-respect. When you choose to stop texting, you are sending the most powerful message possible without ever typing a word. You are communicating. I have stated my interests clearly. The ball is in your court. I am a man with options and self-worth, and I am not here to beg for scraps of your attention or validation. This silent statement radiates confidence and self-value. It shows that your sense of worth is internally generated, not dependent on her external approval. This is an incredibly attractive energy because it is authentic and rooted in strength. It proves you value yourself enough to walk away gracefully from any situation that is not mutual, any connection that is not built on a foundation of equal enthusiasm. You are refusing to settle for a one-sided dynamic, and that is a stance that commands respect. Human psychology is not a mystery. It operates on predictable patterns, and one of the most fundamental is our innate attraction to the unknown. Think about it. Why do we find mystery novels compelling or cliffhangers so addictive? It's because our brains are wired to seek resolution, to solve puzzles, to close open loops. This principle is absolutely foundational to creating attraction. The things we can't immediately figure out, people who seem to have hidden depths, these are the subjects that occupy our mental space long after they're gone. We crave mystery. We are instinctively drawn to chase what we don't fully understand or can't easily possess. But when you are the one constantly initiating, pouring out your attention, and making your interest utterly transparent, you annihilate any sense of mystery. You become an open book, predictable, familiar, and safe. There's no suspense, no intrigue, no emotional puzzle for her to solve. You're like a rerun of a favorite show. It might be comfortable, but it holds no thrill of discovery, no anticipation of what might happen next. Now, consider the most compelling characters in film or literature. The heroes and anti-heroes who command a room without saying a word. They aren't frantically explaining themselves or seeking validation. They are calm, self-contained, and emotionally grounded. Their power doesn't come from what they say, but from what they don't say. They possess a quiet assurance, a take-it-or-leave-it vibe that is magnetic precisely because it implies their value is not up for negotiation. They are the prize. This isn't Hollywood fantasy. It's an exaggerated reflection of a core truth about social dynamics and attraction. These characters are compelling because they don't chase. They don't overshare their insecurities or their daily mundanities in a bid for connection. They let people come to them, and in doing so, they create a gravitational pull. They understand that true attraction isn't about convincing someone to like you. It's about being so complete in yourself that others are naturally drawn into your orbit. When you make the conscious decision to stop texting, you are fundamentally flipping this entire script. You are shifting from being the pursuer to becoming the potential prize. This action, or rather this intentional inaction, creates a vacuum of attention. And nature, along with human psychology, abhors a vacuum. Suddenly, she is confronted with your silence. The predictable pattern of your messages is broken. This disruption forces her mind to engage, to ask questions she never had to ask before. Why has he stopped? Did I do something wrong? Is he losing interest? Is there someone else? This curiosity is an incredibly potent force. It forces her to invest mental energy in you, to think about you, instead of you being the one always thinking about her. You effectively reverse the roles of investment. This taps directly into the well-documented scarcity effect, a principle in behavioral economics. That states people assign more value to things that are perceived as rare, limited, or difficult to obtain. When your attention, which was once abundant and freely given, suddenly becomes scarce, its perceived value skyrockets. She begins to subconsciously wonder if she is losing access to something valuable. People in relationships, in business, in life value what feels uncertain and what they could lose far more than what is handed to them on a silver platter with no effort required. But here is the most critical part of this entire equation. Even if this strategy doesn't work, even if she doesn't come back around, you still win. Why? Because by stepping back, you have reclaimed the most valuable currencies you have: your time, your mental energy, and your emotional peace. You are no longer waiting by the phone. You are out living a life so full and engaging that her response becomes a minor footnote, not the headline of your day. That shift in focus from chasing her to building yourself is the ultimate power move. It's the vibe that makes people sit up and pay attention. The alpha move was never about the chase. It was always about becoming someone worth catching. The most critical mistake you can make after deciding to stop texting is to simply sit there, phone in hand, waiting for her to break the silence. That isn't strategy. It's just a different form of waiting, and it radiates passive, needy energy. You've stopped the outward pursuit, but the internal chase is still consuming you. The true power of pulling back isn't in the act itself, but in what you do with the vast amounts of energy and time you've just reclaimed. This is where you go from simply being ignored to becoming utterly undeniable. The script isn't just flipped, it's completely rewritten, with you as the author and the main character of a far more compelling story. While she might be over there wondering why the text stopped, you are already miles ahead, focused on the most important project you will ever work on, yourself. This process, often glorified as leveling up, is not about becoming someone new for her benefit. It is about systematically and relentlessly becoming the man you know you are capable of being. For your own pride and purpose, it is the deliberate channeling of all that frustrated, anxious energy that was once spent waiting for a text into tangible, transformative action. This is your blueprint. Start with the physical, because the body and mind are inextricably linked. Hit the gym with consistency and purpose. This isn't just about vanity or getting jacked. It's about the discipline of showing up for yourself.
Oh, when no one is watching?
It's about physically feeling yourself grow stronger, channeling frustration into every rep, and experiencing the primal confidence that comes from mastering your own body. You're building the physique. Yes, you're primarily forging the mindset of a man who respects himself enough to maintain his temple. Next, attack your mind and skill set. What have you been putting off? What ignites a spark of curiosity in you? Now is the time to dive in headfirst. Maybe it's finally learning to cook gourmet meals that nourish you and impress guests. Perhaps it's mastering a new language, not to charm someone, but to open doors to new cultures and ways of thinking. It could be dedicating yourself to your career with a newfound intensity, not just for a paycheck, but for the mission and the mastery of your craft. These pursuits do two things. They fill your time with productive passion, and they build a genuine, unshakable sense of self-worth that is completely independent of anyone else's validation. You are accumulating proof of your own competence and value. Crucially, you must reinvest in your social infrastructure. Reconnect with your friends, your crew, your brothers, your mentors. These relationships are your foundation. They are the people who celebrate you for who you are, not for what you can provide them. Go on that trip. Have those stupid, deep, laughing until you cry conversations. Remember what it feels like to be supported and to support others unconditionally. This reminds you that your value in this world is not contingent on the approval of a single person. When you are immersed in this holistic process of self-improvement, two profound shifts occur. First, internally, you begin to feel unstoppable. Every small win at the gym, in the kitchen, or at the office compounds into a deep, resonant confidence. You are no longer seeking validation. You are generating it from within daily. Second, externally, you become magnetic. Confidence and ambition are palpable energies. People are instinctively drawn to those who have a clear purpose and are actively building a life they are proud of. You stop being the guy who needs a woman to complete him and become the guy a woman wants to join on his already awesome journey. You become the prize. Your entire focus shifts from "does she want me?" to the infinitely more powerful question, "do I want the life I am building for myself?" And the answer, through your actions, becomes a resounding yes. This is where the journey culminates. Not in a victory of winning someone back, but in the far more profound victory of winning yourself. The entire path of self-improvement and disciplined silence leads you to this final, crucial realization: not every connection is meant to last. This isn't a cynical view. It's a liberating and mature one. Life is a process of constant selection, and sometimes the most powerful choice you can make is to gracefully accept that a person or a situation is not a fit for the man you are becoming. Clinging to a one-sided dynamic, desperately trying to force a square peg into a round hole, it's an exhausting act of self-betrayal. It's the emotional equivalent of running a race with a heavy weight tied to your ankle. You might be moving, but you're straining, struggling, and ultimately holding yourself back from your true pace and potential. You are sacrificing your peace and progress for a possibility that grows more dim with every passing day. This act of acceptance is not a passive surrender or an admission of defeat. It is the ultimate expression of strength and self-respect. It is the conscious decision to look at the reality of the situation, the silence, it's the lack of effort, the unanswered texts, and to finally believe what it has been telling you all along. It is saying with quiet dignity, "I see you. I see your disinterest. And I finally choose to believe you." This is the moment you stop negotiating with the evidence and declare that your peace is more valuable than your hope. You are not a supplicant begging for scraps of affection or validation at someone else's table. You are the main course. You are a man of value, of depth, and of purpose. And if she is unable or unwilling to see that, it is not a reflection of your worth, but a revelation of her vision. Her inability to recognize your value does not diminish it. It merely means she lacks the lens to see it. The true beauty of this acceptance is the unparalleled freedom it unleashes. Once you truly internalize that she might not come back, a weight lifts. You are freed from the anxious waiting, the constant hoping, the emotional roller coaster that left you drained. In that freedom, you find something far more valuable than any relationship: your peace, your dignity, and the wide open space to build something authentic with someone who is genuinely eager to be there. This is how you reclaim the narrative of your life. I speak from experience. I, too, have been stung by rejection from someone I thought was everything. The initial pain is real. It's easy to spiral into questioning everything about yourself. But I came to understand a fundamental truth. Her rejection was never about me. It was about her own preferences, her own journey, her own unresolved issues. It was her story, not mine. And that's okay. Not everyone is meant to resonate with your frequency. That rejection, which felt like an ending, was actually the kindling for a new beginning. It lit a fire under me. It was the catalyst that pushed me to hit the gym harder, to focus on my mission with more intensity, to become a better friend, a better man. The qualities I thought I wanted to share with her, I began to build for myself on my own terms. And that process attracted someone who not only saw my value, but matched my energy with enthusiasm and respect. Therefore, use this experience not as a weight to drag you down, but as fuel to propel you forward. Let her see you thriving from a distance, not as a performative act, but as the genuine result of you choosing yourself. The ultimate power move is to realize deep in your bones that you never needed her reply, her validation. or her approval to become the best, most complete version of yourself. Your worth was inherent all along. The journey was never about convincing her to see it. It was about you finally believing it yourself. That is the real win. That is how you rewrite your story from one of chasing to one of choosing, and always choosing yourself first.